Hi friends, how are you all doing? Here we are on Tuesday as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a little while since I've started out by saying that, but thank you always for being here, whether it's live or in the replay. So this week, our intention, the energy I cultivate shines bright. The energy I cultivate shines bright. Happy full moon. So we have a Cancer full moon today. The exact moment of the full moon was about an hour ago. So we're like within this if you're joining the meditation live, even if it's afterwards, that's still okay. But if you're joining the meditation live, we are like right in the moments of the exact full moon. So that's super, super exciting here, and it just heightens the energy that we have here with us. With this evening, and I just think that's really, really cool. So let's talk about the energy, huh? Let's talk about the astrology here with the full moon and what has kind of has come into the intention. The energy I cultivate shines bright. So the intention itself, after I thought about it, although I was looking at kind of everything together as I always try to do, it could be just a full moon intention on its own, right? The energy I cultivate shines bright. The moon is at the height of illumination. It is fully bright. You can see the whole entire moon. So it's like the middle of the cycle. It's the height of the moon cycle, right? So it's what the moon has been cultivating and building, what has been growing is now at the height before it starts to kind of drift away a little bit. So you could use this as just the full moon intention itself, but there's a couple other little things that we're looking at too. So the full moon in the sign of Cancer on its own. Cancer is the sign of the moon. So we have a full moon where the moon is in its domicile, in its homeland. So a place that it's very, very comfortable, and a place that is very lunar-like. So that's where you start to get the different qualities of the sign of Cancer. So you have like the nurturing, mothering side of Cancer. You have this sensitivity and this intuition, or this intuitive type energy with it. These are features of the moon. Cancer, where you find Cancer within your own chart, in your own life, you find things like your memory body and the subconscious mind and subconscious memory. In my opinion, the memory and the imprints of your past lives, as well as like the past moments of this life. In my opinion, probably future lives too, probably all of it, all at one time. But the sign of Cancer itself really kind of has this deep inner connection in my mind, because it connects us to all of these very personal, deep inner levels, inner layers. It connects to our memory and our thoughts and the things that we've held onto within our mind, right? The subconscious programmings that we have within our mind that have come as a result of our different experiences or different exposures, and these things that kind of leave an imprint on you, and kind of like I was gonna say leave your mark, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Leave an imprint on you, kind of like an impression. Think about the moon itself. Think about how the moon does not have like its own light, but it reflects the light of the sun, right? So the moon itself does not have its own light. The light is the sun, and the light from the moon comes from the sun. That's why we get the different phases, because it depends on where the position is with the sun and the moon. But the moon, the light and that which shines within the moon is kind of like pressed upon the moon. It kind of comes from something, comes from somewhere. Are you following me here with this? So there's this very inward portion of Cancer. I wrote down, look at this light that I have. So Cancer, being that it deals with all of these things that are like within us, within our physical body, maybe not our physical body necessarily itself, although the moon itself could represent the physical body, but not necessarily just the sign of Cancer. You have all of these parts that are within the body, and all these things that we kind of hold on to in different ways. So it's like the phrase that came to me was, look at this light I have. Look at these things that I have. Look at these memories that I have. Look at these different programmings that are a part of me. Look at the ancestry that is behind me. Look at the lineage of this physical body and the families that I'm a part of. Look at the lineage of the soul. Look at this soul that is within me and where it has come from. What is the lineage of your soul, let alone not only just your ancestors? All of these things are topics of not only the moon, but also the sign of Cancer. And that's because the moon rules Cancer. So they kind of, the two of them fall back and forth that way. So the energy that I cultivate shines bright. All of these different things that are all a part of you, shining bright within illumination here. The energy that we cultivate, so the things that we've been working on, so thoughts, actions, motivations. So I used energy very, very broadly here. Excuse me. So there's this very inward feeling of a full moon in Cancer, in my opinion, and this very like illuminating light that kind of comes from within, possibly on many different levels. The energy, so the part of the energy that I cultivate, so the actions, the thoughts, the motivations, the things, the projects and the things that you've been working on, Mercury and Mars, we've talked about this before. We have the full moon coming through today, Tuesday, and then just after that, Mercury, still moving retrograde now in Sagittarius, is coming into a conjunction with Mars. So you have Mercury, our mind, our thoughts, our perceptions, all of those inner workings of our mind, and then you have Mars. You have the planet of movement, the planet of drive and motivation, the planet of let's go and let's do the thing, coming together in a conjunction. And so all of these aspects that we're talking about, they're all even though I'm talking about them happening on different days, they are all within close enough proximity of degrees to all be considered part of this full moon energy as well. Just want to put that as a little side note, I guess. So anyways, Mercury and Mars coming together in the sign of Sagittarius at the time of the full moon. So you have the excuse me, the intermingling of your mind and your actions and your drives and your motivations. These things coming together here. And those two, excuse me, those planets together, they're going to be squaring Neptune at the time that they're coming together. So we've talked about Neptune here in many different ways because Neptune can represent lots of different things. The shadow side that you hear of Neptune, very, very, very valid about being lost and immersed in things. You have things like addiction and being too overcome or too intoxicated by things. That's because Neptune, I've often said that it just fully develops and envelops us in something. So that's the shadow side of it. Looking at more of the positive side of it here, you know, Neptune itself connects us to the soul. Neptune connects us to the spirit and to whatever it is that divinity means to you. Neptune connects us to source and to a greater consciousness in a way. So when you have contacts with Neptune, you can have, being that you have these connections to the soul and connections to spirit and this kind of like opening into this other energy, you end up having questions of things like purpose and questions of like your path and are you doing the right thing and are you on the right path? Should you be doing this? Should you be doing that? You get these deep existential questions of like a broadening mind and like a wider view a little bit, right? So it's like, am I going down the right path? Should I be doing this? What about if I did that? What would this help me with? Some of these bigger questions here. So then you take those bigger questions and then you pair it with Mercury, our mind, and you pair it with Mars, actions, and you may feel almost triggered to make some sort of change, to make some sort of movement, or kind of adjust. You might find your perception kind of adjusted a little bit. Changes could be both physically and mentally with Mercury and Mars. So there's this while we have this illumination of the moon in the sign of Cancer that deals with all of these inward things, we have Mercury and Mars coming together in a conjunction, and they're coming into that aspect with Neptune at the same time, where Neptune could potentially kind of tell us to open up these bigger questions for us, okay? As far as the movements that we're taking, the Mars actions that we're taking, open up these bigger questions as far as Mercury, as far as our mind and our perception and the way that we think of things and the way that we see things. So this energy that we're cultivating here, it could pull us to kind of take, maybe like if there's something that you've been wanting to do or actions that you've been wanting to take or a path that you've been wanting to go down, it might kind of like pull you to kind of go down that path. This aspect between Mars and Mercury, it's not the first time that we've seen this. With Mercury being retrograde, Mercury is hitting Mars 3 times. So the end of October, October 28th, to be exact, we had a conjunction of Mars and Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. And then this week, December 27th, we have the conjunction of Mercury and Mars in the sign of Sagittarius, so the next sign over, okay? And then one last time, once Mercury is direct, we will have one more conjunction of the two in January 26th, and that will be in the sign of Capricorn. So we have conjunctions in October 28th in the sign of Scorpio. We have one now in the sign of Sagittarius, and then we'll have one in about a month in the sign of Capricorn. The movement and the timing of these planets coming together, with it being in 3 different signs, 3 different consecutive signs, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, it feels like a process here. It feels like something that Mars and Mercury have been working on. Think back to the end of October and think of maybe something that kind of came up or was about or around that time, and now is kind of like coming back around now. See if there's anything that you can kind of think of. Maybe it's not that the exact same thing, but like kind of the continuation of it maybe is coming back around. So those are dates that you can kind of keep in your own head to kind of see how it could be playing out in your own life. But I see Mars and Mercury coming together these 3 different times within the 3 consecutive signs as being on like a bit of a continuum almost. It's like we start in one topic, one area of life, and we have this coming together in this movement of our mind, this quickening of our mind, and the actions and the movements and the mind and the whole thing coming together in the sign of Scorpio in one life section, and then coming together in the next house, and then in the next house of your own birth chart, and then a little while later they come together in the next sign or the next house. Anywhere, wherever that starting point is for you, which would be the sign of Scorpio, wherever you find that beginning there, it's like there's a continuum within those areas of life. And you know, each house, which is a different sign for each part of your chart, each house kind of like house 1 kind of feeds into house 2. The second house kind of feeds into the third house. Third house feeds into the fourth house. Fourth house feeds into fifth house. You can go backwards too. It goes the other way too. The fifth house feeds into the fourth house. The fourth house in your birth chart feeds into the third house. So there's this back and forth play between the different life topics that are represented by adjacent houses. So these different topics, since they flow together, Mercury and Mars are working together and pulling through those different life topics like in a train here, and like working into one. So like say, so for me, it started, the sign of Scorpio was my first house. I'm a Scorpio rising. So the Mercury-Mars combination started out in October within like my house of self, within my own personal being and my own personal body and own personal psyche, okay? And then now they're coming together in the second house. So things could be things like money and property, or not property, but like material things. But generally speaking, the things that kind of benefit me and benefit the first house. So first, Mars and Mercury are coming together within the house of self, and then they're coming together in the house of benefits and the things that benefit the self. And then they're going to come together in the house of the environment, okay? So this is just an example just to show you, not because I want to sit here and talk about my own chart or my own life and my own path here. But these different topics, they feed together, right? So you start with the self, you start with the personal self, and then you start to build on the self. So then you have the things that start to benefit the self. Things that start to benefit the self, well, they tend to stick around because they're benefits. So then they kind of become a part of the environment. You see how that kind of works? So you could do that in your own chart and in your own life and see how that kind of plays out a little bit. Or where it seems like it's showing up. But there's this neat little continuum here with Mars and Mercury going on. And with the square to Neptune, it feels a little bit bigger. It feels more like a little more existential like. So it feels more like bigger picture, not small nitty-gritty type stuff here. At the time of the full moon, so now, the full moon is at 4 degrees of Cancer, so Sun at 4 Capricorn, Moon at 4 Cancer, and Jupiter is at 5 degrees of Taurus. So we have a trine to the Sun and we have a sextile to the Moon. Jupiter we've talked a lot about lately. The blesser and the benefiter, right? Typically Jupiter brings abundances and nice benefits of some kind. It's also interesting, so Jupiter is making these positive and these nice aspects to the full moon, bringing a little bit of knowledge, perhaps, especially with the Neptunian type qualities that we have around, bringing some sort of blessing, some sort of abundance, some sort of knowledge, some sort of information, or some sort of key piece that could kind of help with this illumination that we have here within the full moon. So yeah, there's lots of just really neat little things that seems like, so full moon is loud, it's bright, right? But it feels like it's loud and it feels like it's bright, but it feels like it's kind of loud and bright like within here. Within changes of Mars and Mercury, these different things going forward and moving from one, like, let's say, I don't want to say from one cycle to another, but like one step to another, right? I really feel like this Mars-Mercury pattern here, it's like we're focusing on one area of life, but then all of a sudden, while we're focusing on that one area of life, it's just going to kind of drift into the next area of life, and it's just going to kind of like, it's like the cup's just going to flow over from one house to the next, right? And then you're going to fill that house up, and things are going to start to come together. Jupiter's coming in with these abundances and these blessings, not to mention that Mars and Mercury coming together in Sagittarius is in Jupiter's sign, so Jupiter is kind of helping them out right now too. So then that's going to kind of start to fill up, and then it's going to just kind of fill over into the next house. So I'd look at where those 3 houses are, and I would kind of see what's been playing out, or what started within like the sign of Scorpio in October, and just kind of look at where those different, the topics of those 3 different houses, so Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, just kind of see what's going on and what you can kind of project and see going forward here. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the Cancer full moon because it has this heightened energy, because that's the full moon, but it's this heightened energy of what is within you, this heightened energy of the intuition that's inside of you, the heightened energy of that light that is within you, you know, so the energy I cultivate shines bright. The things that you have been working on, shining bright and moving forward for you. These things can feel very uplifting and very energizing and very like empowering and very connected, but at the same time, these things can bring up questions that, you know, maybe if your connection to, like, even within the moment is feeling tested or doesn't feel like super duper strong, it can leave you feeling almost questioning things at the same time. So I don't want to make it sound like this energy is just like purely love and positive, because it can be, but it isn't like that for everybody. Some people, like this opening and this heightening of this intuition can open up, or like this heightened awareness can open up, like reveal things and show us things that we haven't necessarily focused on, but maybe it's because they're things that we don't necessarily want to focus on, right? So if you're not feeling that like super vibed, like I'm super connected to source and I can do absolutely anything I want, you still have that connection and you still can do absolutely anything you want, but just know that the other feelings are valid too, because you know, the Cancer, things that that light that is within you, right, and all of these other things, these are things that we hold close, the memory and the lineage, and the nurturing qualities. These are all things that we hold kind of tight and close to us, subconscious programmings, even if we don't necessarily realize it. So when, especially like when Neptune comes around and kind of opens these things up with these existential questions, the things that we've been holding on to, if those things are kind of difficult, they might come forward too. So just kind of be aware of that. Things that we've been holding in close, they might start to kind of unravel or show themselves a little bit. So just be aware of that. So the energy I cultivate shines bright. I think it's important to say that, so the energy I cultivate shines bright. If you find yourself in one of those more difficult mindsets, or patterns or experiences or whatever it is that you want to call it, been there myself plenty of times, just the awareness and just knowing that the energy we are cultivating is what's going to shine bright. So if what we're focusing on are these things, these like things that we're holding on to that might be coming out that are maybe a little bit more difficult, if that's what we're focusing on, that's what's going to shine bright. So might be very, very difficult, but shifting our focus or shifting our mindset, Mars Mercury helps with that. You know, it's trying to shift the mindset to something different. Feeling the difficult at the moment. I'm looking in the comments here now. So yeah, there's combinations of both feeling the difficult and feeling the positive. Cancer moon makes us feel in general. It makes us feel everything, right? So it's the place of the moon. It's a full moon, so the moon is at its height. So it's a height. There can be very heightened emotions around the full moon in general, but it's in the sign of Cancer. It's in an emotional sign. In fact, we have an abundance of water and earth energy going on here within the chart. We have some fire going on in Sag right now with Mercury and Mars, but other than that, there's a whole lot of water and there's a whole lot of earth. Those are feminine signs. So those are more not introverted, but more like an internally feeling and intuitive, and just a more sensitive nature in general. If we have the masculine signs, then it's a little more extroverted and maybe a little bit more, I don't know, I was going to say easier to handle things, but not always necessarily, just a little bit more forefront with handling things, right? Where feminine doesn't necessarily always want to find the conflict. It might just try to kind of smooth things over a little bit in a certain way. So lots of different energies, lots for us to cultivate and lots for us to work on trying to shine bright right now. I think lots of us have been working on lots of different things lately. There's been lots of different motivations and lots of different movements of different kinds, and lots of us have goals and things that we've been working on. This is our last meditation of 2023, so lots of us are working on new goals for 2024. Lots of holiday celebrations about new beginnings this time of year, so lots of people have been just working on new things, and whatever it is that you have been working on, whatever you've been cultivating, that energy shines bright right now because we're in the full moon, right? So, that's it. Lots of different energies going on here. Lots of intuitive energies, lots of feeling within, lots of contemplation within, I think. I think there's more inward, internal things rather than external things going on right now. You know, even though that Mars and Mercury are in Sagittarius, they're in a fire sign, they're in a masculine sign, they're also in a Jupiter-ruled sign. So although it's a fire sign, it's a sign that is forward looking. It's looking for some sort of knowledge. It's looking for some sort of wisdom. Sagittarius is always looking for that next light to find too. So it's motivated in within its own way here. So, you know, pulling that forward and pulling that into the new year is just absolutely fantastic, I think. So yeah, the energy I cultivate shines bright. So the energy that you cultivate, the thoughts, the actions, the motivations, the drives, the words that you say, all of these things shine bright, the positive and the negative. So I think it's important to remember that sometimes. And I think, you know, the energy of the full moon is always heightened, and it's always on high when we have a full moon. But here in the sign of the moon, there's this ability to tap within. There's this ability to tap into the light within, and, you know, maybe even we're in the sign of Cancer, so this is the sign of the moon. This is the sign of the mother. Maybe be a little vulnerable with yourself. Maybe open up to yourself a little bit. And if there's some sort of shell on that light of yours, then, you know, try to crack it open a little bit if you can, whatever it is that means for you. So I think we should move on with our meditation now. What do you think? So lots of lovely full moon energy here, lots of internalized energy, lots of connections to Neptunian energy here too. So connecting us to the divine, connecting us to spirit and to source, to the creator, to God, whatever that phrase is and whatever that energy is for you, connecting to that and the world that it opens. All of these other questions of which way am I going? What is the truth? What really is the truth, you know? What does this mean? What is energy? What is my own truth? Is my own truth the truth? All of these questions that just one question just leads into another sometimes. It's kind of like a rabbit hole, huh? All right, so we'll get our intention off of here. We have our intentional candle as always. White candles, I always use a white one here because white is universal, and it's a lack of color, so that's why it's universal. You can change it into any color you want it to be. But white, amplification and purification. So sending out the energy and cleansing it at the same time, right? It's absolutely great. So I'm going to light the intentional candle, and as I do so, I'm going to recite our intention, and feel free to do so with me, whether it's out loud or in your own head. I encourage you to do it out loud. So, the intention, the energy I cultivate shines bright. The energy I cultivate shines bright. Lighting the candle, intentional candle, flame burns, and as we watch the flame grow, so does our intention. The energy I cultivate shines bright. 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 Now, let's start by cultivating a little bit of energy here, huh? I'd like you to take your hands, if you're able to, wherever you are right now, and just rub your hands together here. Rub your hands together. Feel free to start out slowly, but start to move, pick up the pace and move them a little bit quicker if you're able to. Mercury and Mars are both planets of quick, swift action. They're planets of movement. Mars is movement in itself. Mercury moves quickly, is a shapeshifter, changes phases most often next to the moon. So quick, swift action is a Mars and Mercury, especially in a fire sign combination. And as you start to move your hands together faster and faster, you start to feel a little heat building up in between your hands. At any point you need to stop, you go right ahead and feel free to do so. Cultivating that energy, feel free to close your eyes if that works for you. Feel a heat coming between your hands that is coming from your arms, it's coming from within you. Then, when you feel ready, I encourage you to stop moving your hands, hold them just a little ways away from each other, and just see what you feel. Make note, any sensations at all, feelings, temperatures, fluctuations, movements. The energy I cultivate shines bright. The energy I cultivate shines bright. Just observing the energy that you cultivated between your own hands, within your own space. And then I'm going to bring my hands down to rest. For me, it's on my knees, because I'm in a seated cross-legged position. And now, check in with your breath. Started with a little bit of fire, a little bit of energy, a little bit of cultivation. Now take a moment to be still and find your way to your breath. It is within your breath that you find your connection to yourself and to so much more than that. Right now, we're not making any changes to our breath, no changes to the depth or the frequency. Just noting the energy level that you have at this very moment. Once you've taken a moment for recognition, so you've taken a moment to check in with yourself. Now, on the inhale, we slowly start to deepen the breath. Breathing in. As you breathe in, you feel that cool air enter your body, move down your throat, into your lungs. As more and more air rushes in, your lungs expand. In order for your lungs to fully expand, your diaphragm moves down, your abdomen distends, perhaps your navel moves away from your spine, and you fill up with beautiful oxygenating air entering your body. Then on the exhale, as you start to slowly begin to release the air from your lungs, you feel your abdomen move back into a neutral position. Spine relaxes, shoulders relax as you slowly release the air out of your body. And in that moment, the bottom of the release, you feel relaxed, content, yet ready to receive. On the next breath in, slowly start to breathe in, maybe through your nose. Feel that cool air enter your throat, filling your lungs. And at the top of the inhale, you pause for just a moment. A moment of full, complete reflection. And then you slowly begin to release the air from your lungs. Slowly, your lungs deflate as your abdomen moves back to a neutral position. Diaphragm lengthens and moves back up. Neutral position. Navel and spine moves into a neutral position. Your upper back and your shoulders move into a neutral position and relax. Perhaps at the bottom of the exhale, you even let your head relax for just a moment, fully releasing, fully surrendering to the exhale. This time, as you breathe in, I want you to breathe in a nice, full inhale. And as you do so, I want you to bring your focus and your energy to the base of your spine. Focus on the area, the base of your spine, near your tailbone, where right above your pelvic area. And I want you to breathe a couple breaths in and out while focusing on this area. Breathing energy into the base of our spine. Filling and revitalizing energy. And on the release, you let go of the breath. You let go of anything and any tension that you're holding onto in the base of your spine. Next breath in, breathing in, focusing on that area of your body. Once more, breathing energy into the base of your spine. And on the exhale, you release not only your breath, but you release tensions, stressors, memories, conditionings. You release things that you're holding on to at the base of your spine that you didn't even realize were there. All you have to focus on is the energy coming in on the inhale and the energy releasing on the exhale. Continue breathing in and out while focusing on this area right at the base of your spine, right at the top of your sit bones, right near the surface that you are sitting or laying on. Continue breathing in and out. Here you are tapping into your own vital energy. Here you are clearing out memories, conditionings, lineage, cleaning out energies that you didn't even know existed, while at the same time filling your own cup with beautiful, wonderful, revitalizing, universal energy through the inhale. Now I want you to bring your focus just a little bit lower. I want you to focus on the muscles of your pelvic region. This time, as you inhale and as you focus on the muscles just below the base of your spine, focusing on all the muscles within your pelvic region. And as you take a nice deep breath in, I want you to attempt to squeeze or contract those muscles. And as you exhale, relax all of your muscles. This might be a little different if it's not something you're used to. Breathing in, contracting the muscles of your pelvic region, and on the exhale, relax. Cultivating and caring to an energy and a power that is within each and every one of us. Breathing in, muscles contract. Breathing out, muscles release. Breathing in, muscles contract. Breathing out, muscles release. Breathing in, muscles contract. Breathing out, muscles release. Now this time, as you take a nice deep breath in and you contract those muscles, I want you to see if you can feel that energy raise just a little bit higher within your body. Breathing in, contracting those muscles, and breathing out. Next deep breath in, breathing in. See if you can bring that energy level even just a little bit higher than the time before, and relax. Again, breathing in, muscles contract, energy level coming up slightly higher than before, and release. Continuing the process at your own pace of breathing in, contracting those pelvic muscles, pulling the energy up through your body, and on the exhale, release. The energy that you are cultivating to at this moment, the energy you are caring for and nurturing, this energy within you is powerful, and it holds many, many of the answers that you are looking for. As you continue the process of breathing in, breathing out, focusing on this energy that comes up from your base. You feel a growing level of inspiration and motivation. As you breathe in and out, You feel a creative energy coming within your being. An energy that is ready to move forward and are ready to move on to the next step. Within the next week, Mercury and Jupiter will both be moving forward direct, on their way to moving forward, moving onward and upward. Soon, the wheels are going to be turning faster and faster and faster. And that movement, and that perception, the Mars and the Mercury within your life are going to be moving leaps and bounds. But in this moment, we stay here within ourselves, in this cycle of inhaling and exhaling, while focusing on this base energy that is within all of us. We focus inward, cultivating and growing our own personal energy so it may shine bright, 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 illuminating the future as we move forward. The energy I cultivate shines bright. Look at that beautiful, bright light that you have. That light that is within you is unlike the light that was within anybody else. Look at that energy you are cultivating within you. Each breath in, you feel more and more connected, more and more power within you. And with each exhale, you release a little bit more. You let go of something that perhaps you didn't even know was there. I invite you to take one more deep breath in, filling yourself with the most powerful energy vibration you have this entire meditation. And on the exhale, you release, you let go of any and all stress, tension, worry, doubt, whatever it is that is holding you back from shining as brightly as you possibly can. Fully exhaling, fully releasing. Perhaps you allow your shoulders to round. Perhaps you allow your head to release down. Full release. And as We come together at the bottom of the exhale. We go inward within our own being for just a moment. And as we come within our own energy and our own space, I want you to physically see your own light lighting up from within you. See that light within your chest or within your heart space, wherever you see it light up. And visualize that light within you emanating forward. The energy I cultivate shines bright. The energy I cultivate shines bright. That light that you've been cultivating, that light that you see shining bright, moving forward externally, that light, that bright light, it all starts within you. It all starts from within. And this Cancer full moon invites us to look at that light within, at full luminosity. Cancer, look what I have. Look at this light. Look at this little light of mine. This little light, I'm gonna let it shine. I like that song. Thank you, all of you, as always, for joining and being here. The energy of this full moon is wow. Full moon energy is always on high. I try not to overly I try not to overly say that, like, this is the full moon, this is the cycle, this is the one that's going to connect you to within. But Cancer really does connect us to the within, okay? It's the place of the moon. It's the place of our body, of our physicality. The moon is the closest to Earth, okay? So it's the moon is what's closest to us, okay? So this Cancer moon, Cancer full moon, comes in closely within us, right? This nurturing quality, this loving and this devotion, this devoting energy is a very Cancerian quality. So that bright full moon light, since it's in the sign of Cancer, let's cultivate that light within us, okay? Because that's what Cancer is. Think of the crab within its shell. So what's within your shell? What are you cultivating right here? The movement's coming. Mars and Mercury, they're doing their thing. They're going to come together one more time, and that's going to be with Mercury not in retrograde motion, so they will both be moving forward. Things are shifting forward. There's going to be, I think, there's going to be movement in motion for a lot of people. But I think at the moment, there could be movement in motion going on. But take a moment to go within. Take a moment to come inside, okay? I know that meditation seemed probably like super basic and super, I don't know, maybe a little plain Jane and a little whatever. But really just connecting to that power within you, and just feeling that energy coming up from your base, from the area where you are connected to the ground, or whatever the surface is below you. If you're sitting, you know, like right now I'm sitting on a pillow. That pillow is sitting on the cement floor. That cement floor is connected to the foundation of my house, which is connected to the ground, connected to the earth. So even if you're not sitting directly onto the earth, that lower base part of you that is connected to the surface below you, that is eventually connected to the earth, pulling that energy up from there and just playing with that energy and just feeling that energy coming up and down within waves, there is so much you can connect to that. And doing that right now within a full moon, within a Cancer full moon, within the moon, the place of the moon, right? The place of the body, the place of our physical body, as well as our emotional body and our memory body and our lineage body and our ancestry body, all of those different things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it because I certainly did. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all of you in the comments. I'm taking a look now. Yeah, replay this if you'd like to. And thank you, all of you. I appreciate all of you being here as always. You know, originally when I started doing these on Tuesdays, it was because I had Tuesdays off of work and I didn't have to like go to work before whatever. I had all day to whatever. I didn't have to go to work that day. So that's why I started doing it. Now I work 5 days a week, so it's my schedule's a little bit different. So sometimes by the time I get to this time of day, it takes me a moment to kind of, you know, I can't always sit in meditation for I can rarely sit in meditation for an hour before we sit here and do our meditation. So sometimes when I come to this space, it takes me a moment too to kind of get out of the day and to just kind of move forward. But by the end of it, I hope you all feel that too. I hope you all feel that too. So yeah, no, I don't plan on not doing this anymore. I'm just telling you all again and showing you how well it works for me, because I don't know, I see it on the replays. If I look back, maybe I don't know if you guys see it or not, but the progression from the beginning of this, like, was about an hour we spend together to the end. Maybe do you see any changes within your own self too? Because I certainly do. And it's just me saying thank you for being here because I love this space so much. And yeah, I love it because it helps me immensely, so many different ways. So happy full moon, happy Cancer full moon. Happy Neptune interactions, okay? So Mercury and Mars. We mentioned the shadow side. Let's try not to get pulled over towards that side. Indulging sometimes is okay, but let's not get overwhelmed and be overindulgent in things, okay? Right? Let's connect to these higher, same thing within connecting to the higher levels. Let's not get so far connected to these higher energies and, you know, source and God and all of these other things that are around us without so much that we like disconnect from the physical, right? It's a balance there. So all of that. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you. Look next Sunday for a new intention. All the social media pages, website, all of that. If you're on Facebook, there are Facebook events for each week that correlate for each week's meditation. So if you're on Facebook, go over to the Meditative Astrology Facebook page and click the like interested or going to those events or something like that. It will give you a pop-up notification of the like if you need a reminder for our meditation, like maybe if you're busy and you'd like to come but you kind of forget about it because of a busy day and things like that, then if you click that you're going or interested, then Facebook will give you a reminder of the event the day of. Also, it helps other people find the event and other people join our meditation too. So yeah, thanks. Yeah. Tom said good message on the balance. Yeah, I need that message myself. Yeah, back and forth. I need that. It can be so easy to get pulled in one direction or another and to just like hyper focus on one thing, right? So yeah, it totally can. All right, I will see you all next year, huh? Yeah? All right. Happy days, happy week, and happy life. Have a great evening, great day, whatever it is for you. So, mwah. Much appreciation, and I will see you next week. Look on Sunday for the intention. Bye.